Recently, I did a video on my AM PM routine, and I got to talk to a lot of you about your current routine. So many of you shared with me that you don't use vitamin C. Today, I want to share with you the reasons why I think you should be using a vitamin C, and I also want to share with you a couple different versions of vitamin C. So if you're like me and you can't really tolerate L-ascorbic acid, then maybe you could find something else that'll work really well for you. The case for vitamin C is this. Number one, it is fantastic for helping with hyperpigmentation. So vitamin C is going to be a pigment inhibitor. So you guys know, I've talked about this so many times. If you have brown spots, age spots, if you have melasma, any kind of hyperpigmentation, you need to have a pigment inhibitor on board, AM and PM. And vitamin C is a pigment inhibitor. What does that even mean? It just means that when the cells are being made at the base and they're getting ready to march on forward to the surface where we see them, we want them to come to the surface without any extra pigment. They should only have the amount of pigment that they're supposed to have. Cells that have extra with them and get to the surface are why we have brown spots. So we need something called a pigment inhibitor way back when those cells are just being made so that they only start marching to the surface with the right amount of pigment, so you have clear complexion. So vitamin C will do that for your cells as they are being produced because it will block the enzyme that is part of the whole pigment process. So that's number one. Number two is, of course, it is an antioxidant. This is super important because the collagen and the elastin, the good stuff in our skin that keeps it firm, keeps it from being crepey, that keeps it from being lax, that is our collagen and our elastin, and vitamin C can help to protect that. The way that it does that is the things that are going to break down our collagen and our elastin are things like UV rays and pollution, environmental stressors. Those things cause something called free radicals. Free radicals are like little gremlins that literally degrade our collagen and our elastin. And vitamin C neutralizes those little gremlins so that they can't break down our collagen and our elastin. Number three is it's important in the collagen production process. So not only is it going to protect the collagen and elastin that we have, but it's a cofactor in the production of new collagen. So it's going to help cells come to the surface without excess pigment. It's going to help with the production of collagen, and it's going to help to protect the collagen and elastin that we already have. Those three reasons alone are good enough to have vitamin C on board. But a fourth reason is that it actually boosts our SPF, so it gives us a little bit extra protection against the sun. So there you go. There are four good enough reasons, if you ask me, why you should be using vitamin C. The question is, why aren't you using vitamin C if you're not? Or if you are and you're not real happy with it, why not? I actually polled my Facebook community and asked them about this, and I want to read to you what they had to say. Number one reason was irritation from certain types of vitamin C. That was the number one reason why people stopped using vitamin C or decided not to use vitamin C. Number two, confusion over the derivatives and their efficacy. Number three was frustration with serums oxidizing too quickly, so stability. Number four was they were unsure if it was a worthy investment. Number five, not sure how to layer it with other products. And number six was they were overwhelmed by the price range. I think all of those are valid concerns. Let's go through them. Number one, irritation from certain formulas. That certain formula is going to be L-ascorbic acid. That is the original SkinCeuticals. That is lots and lots and lots of brands that have tried to mimic the SkinCeuticals version. It is the active form of vitamin C, and it is the most studied, it is the most potent, and it is the most irritating. It's also not very stable. So you got to use it up. You got to get through it because it will start to oxidize in the bottle right as the very first time that you open that bottle. So it has some downsides. I would say for the people out there who have no sensitivities, you don't get irritated by skincare products, and you are someone who goes through your skincare products. You're not fickle around. You don't have 4 different serums for vitamin C or for anything. You will pick a bottle and you'll go through it. L-ascorbic acid might be for you. It is definitely the gold standard. It's definitely the one that's the most studied. It just isn't for a lot of people because of that irritation, and it's a very, very valid concern. Now, the second thing that they said was confusion about derivatives and efficacy. Also completely understandable. I would say the best derivative, in my opinion, is THD. That is tetrahexyl decyl or decyl ascorbate, and it is a lipid-soluble version of vitamin C that is decently well studied. It is lipid soluble, so the thinking is that it will penetrate your lipid barrier, get that lipid and lipid, and I think of it almost like a Trojan horse. It's able to kind of like marry itself into the lipid barrier and get through, possibly even better than L-ascorbic acid because it's water-based. And tetrahexyl decyl ascorbate, or THD, very low irritation. It is really a great antioxidant, does all of the good things that we want vitamin C to do. It's going to brighten the skin, and it just has a really nice profile that's good for most people. It is definitely my preferred derivative. I think it is one of the most studied derivatives, and it's also the one that I trust the most to be efficacious. The one that I use is from Photozyme. I've been using it for several months now, and I love it. I find it to be moisturizing, so it's almost like a lightweight moisturizer for me. Comes in kind of a lotion form, and that one's really nice because it has DNA repair enzymes in it as well. So you get your vitamin C antioxidant protection, you also get your DNA repair enzymes, and you possibly, depending on your skin, get a lightweight moisturizer all in one product. So that's THD. I'll list that one down below, but I'll also try and find a few other alternatives. So if you want to look at THD, you have some options of things that you can start researching. Now, the third thing was frustration with serums oxidizing too quickly. That is going to be your L-ascorbic acid. L-ascorbic acid, like I said, is not stable, so it can oxidize relatively quickly. Now, SkinCeuticals did add like ferulic acid and vitamin E antioxidants to the mix to help with stability, but it's still a very, very unstable version of vitamin C, and that's the one that you're going to see oxidizing over time more than any of the derivatives. So if the concern for you is oxidation, I say move to your derivatives and you will not see that. So your THD version of vitamin C, you're not gonna see oxidation unless you don't go through it for like 2 years, but you're not gonna see it. It is so much more stable, like 10 times more stable than L-ascorbic acid. Now the next one was unsure if it's worth the investment. And I understand that. I would say that vitamin C is super well studied in general, and we know that it's a good antioxidant, and we know that it's gonna protect our cells from free radicals, and we know that free radicals degrade our collagen. So to me, for that alone, it's worth the investment, especially now that we can get products that are not $168 a bottle. We can get them for a pretty reasonable price. There are so many alternatives to that SkinCeuticals product that are $20, $25, $30, $35 that are excellent. I'm gonna list in the description box some affordable alternatives to SkinCeuticals, and so that you have some L-ascorbic acid options that are completely worth the investment, in my opinion. The next one is not sure how to layer it with other products. Honestly, vitamin C is really layerable, especially if you go with the derivatives. For example, THD, you can layer it with pretty much anything that you want to. It's another reason why I really like that derivative. There are no contraindications. There are no things that are gonna mess with it. It just gets layered in thinnest to thickest consistency, and it's good to go. I really think that it's one of those that makes it very, very easy to incorporate into a routine. Now with L-ascorbic acid, there's lots of myths around what you can and can't combine on your skin with L-ascorbic acid. A lot of them have been busted, like it's fine with niacinamide. It's fine with copper peptides. It is fine with almost everything. However, I understand the concern, especially if you're paying $168 a bottle. You don't want to be putting it on your skin where it may end up neutralized by something else that you're layering with it. So that's another argument, in my opinion, for the derivatives, because you really don't have to worry about it at all. But honestly, you don't really need to worry about it so much with L-ascorbic acid either. And lastly, the overwhelm of the price range. And the only way that I could figure that this is a frustration or a concern is that people do not understand how there's this $168 bottle and then there's a $30 bottle. How could that be as good as this one? Well, they are. They are. I know that there are going to be some people out there that are going to say SkinCeuticals is it. There's nothing else as good. And maybe some of those that are $30 are 98% as good as the SkinCeuticals. Maybe they're not 100% as good, but they are so close. They are so good that there's no reason for you to pay $168 for a bottle of vitamin C when we have so many fantastic options at the other end of the price scale. I understand why it's confusing that that would exist, but the reality is the patent on SkinCeuticals is going to be up in the very near future, and we are going to see a parity happen with all of these other products that are going to completely mimic the SkinCeuticals formula. But as it stands right now, they're pretty dang close as it is, and they're excellent. So which ones are good for who? So first of all, if you have quote unquote normal skin, meaning you don't have sensitivities, you aren't bothered by actives in skincare, you don't really, none of that stuff really irritates your skin, then you could try L-ascorbic acid. It is the gold standard, the most studied version of vitamin C. And you just need to make sure that you get through the bottle because it is incredibly unstable. Even with everything that brands do to stabilize the product, it's still a very unstable version of the vitamin. If you have dry or sensitive skin, go for THD. That is truly one of the best versions of vitamin C. I would say for almost everyone, but especially if you have dry, mature skin, if you have crepey skin, if you have lax skin, if you have dry, mature skin, I'm telling you, it is so good because it really hydrates and makes your skin look glowy in the moment while it's going to work doing its job. And because it's helping with our barrier function, it's really, really great for us as we mature and we're holding on to water in our skin less. Anything that we can do to boost our barrier function and to give a little bit more moisture and hydration to our skin is going to be a good thing. Now, it also really, really looks good under makeup. And since I recommend using vitamin C during the day, I love THD. I think it is just beautiful. And like I said, I use Photozyme, but there are others on the market. There are definitely several different versions of THD that are available for your choice. It has gotten so much better over the last 5 years, the choices that we have for the different derivatives. Now, if you have oily or acne-prone skin, then I would look for sodium ascorbyl phosphate. Now, this one is really good because it may be able to help reduce the bacteria that causes acne, but beyond that, it can brighten the skin and it can help with something called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which is the dark marks that are left over after your pimple has healed. So sodium ascorbyl phosphate should help you to not get the pimple in the first place, but if you still get the pimple, it will help so that the pimple heals and doesn't leave a long-lasting dark mark behind. So sodium ascorbyl phosphate is a great one to choose if you have oily skin or you are acne prone or combo and acne prone. It helps with that oil regulation, and it's also going to help keep away the acne, but also help the acne heal if you happen to still get it. Now, it is more stable than L-ascorbic acid because it's one of the derivatives. So to me, it's a great choice if you have oily or acne prone skin, better than L-ascorbic acid, and probably better than THD. Although I would argue that THD might be good for everybody, barring people with really acne prone skin and really, really oily skin. I'd say if you're combo, I would still try THD first. Okay, so how do we apply vitamin C? Here's what I do in the morning. I did just do my AM PM routine. If you want to check it out, I'll link that in the description box. Basically, I cleanse my skin in the morning. If you don't want to cleanse your skin, don't worry about it. You don't have to. Then I use an acid toner. For me, it's P50 1970, either original 1970 or 1970V. And then I wait a little bit, and then I put on my repair product, which for me is my Photozyme Youth Recovery. I then do my LED session. When I take off my LED mask or I step away from my LED panel, that is when I will put on my vitamin C product. And again, that's the Photozyme their vitamin C lotion. Lots of times that ends up being my moisturizer for the day. It really kind of depends on my skin, how my skin is doing that day. And it also depends on the SPF that I'm going to pick for the day. So that's when I put on my vitamin C. If you want to put your vitamin C on as close as you can to the beginning of your routine, that's the best thing. So I theoretically could just cleanse, use my acid toner, then put on my vitamin C and then my SPF and be good. All right, you guys, hopefully that encouraged you to get some vitamin C on board. If you've tried it before and it just didn't work for you, just try a different type. There are so many different derivatives. We can talk about other versions if you'd like. There are lots and lots on the market these days. If you have questions about any of the other derivatives, just leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer. I want to direct you over to the blog, as always, where I have listed a bunch of different vitamin C's. I'll go back and I will label each of those either THD, SAP, or LAA, so that you will know which of the 3 versions the vitamin C's are that I have listed over on the blog. So if you've now determined the type that you want to try, you'll know which one over there you might want to look into. I have them all listed over there. I'll list stuff in the description box as well, and I'll do a pinned comment to help you find things. I know the description box is hard to find. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope you're having the most wonderful day, and I will talk to you in my next skincare video. Take care.